Man,
Are y'all ready?
really?
All right, we call the City of Vernon Council meeting March 17th, 2025, 5:30 to order. Candace, invitation, please.
Heavenly Father, we do thank you for this day and we thank you for this time together. We ask that you will guide the council to do the best decisions for the city and the community. Be with our country, be with our first responders. Help our country heal. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With 100 feet across.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? The consent agenda items are on the second page.
I make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Mayor's report, Mr. Gary.
All right, where we at on the cemetery? Where we at on the cemetery paperwork?
I emailed that surveyor back a few weeks ago. He had said he was waiting on you, and I told him to go ahead and proceed with the work.
There's no, I don't know what he's waiting on me for.
That's just what he said.
I'll find out.
So,
But you did tell him to go ahead and proceed with the work.
I did,
Yes,
because the council had authorized it,
Right.
yes.
but I'll follow back up with him.
What about the track?
What about the track?
Yeah, we got supposed to be getting a legal description.
Oh, he's talking about the 40-year warranty deed? Is that our 40-year title?
So that's the other one that y'all gotta have a survey done of what the part that you want.
So we gotta get the old track surveyed.
I thought,
I bet we did.
I thought we
done that.
agreed to do that. Did we?
Might have to do it, I know.
But it was that.
And to take a new survey.
Yes, that we have to have a new one.
I thought we had one since then, didn't we?
Of just the part that is gonna be a part of the grant.
I don't know that now.
So,
So we need to have the whole entire area surveyed, including the part where they was talking about putting the tennis courts and all.
Whatever's gonna be a part of your grant.
Okay, so that part's been done, which part happened? Okay.
just the track?
Just the track?
I don't know.
I can't remember. It's a long back.
Candace, can you look and see if you can find out?
I don't think we ever had that
The entire
Oh,
area.
you're talking, I don't think so, but I don't know.
We never had the entire
I
area.
was
I
thinking
thought
that we
there
had
was
agreed to
some
do
sort
that,
of-
but I guess we just agreed to do the
It
part
may have been.
with a grant.
Doing about payroll.
I can't remember.
We talked about that was it. But I got that on the agenda number 2.
You got it. Come on, son. You got it. All right, Jason, the lift station, there's still, some of them still not being locked.
Which ones?
The one on Main Street, wasn't it, the other day? There was another one that, but the back gate's being locked.
It should be locked. That gate should be.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't been here for the last week, so
What about
I'll check
the
Main
water
Street.
leak on Traverse Drive?
what is it?
The water leak on Traverse,
That's tomorrow morning.
what is it?
It's that old pipe that ain't no good. Same way with it's like the one over there on.
So they
Moss
put
Hill.
new pipes in, not abandoning the old ones.
Yep,
Where you gonna be able to shut it off at?
I don't know. We'll do it live. That's what I usually do. The
Where
one
you-
on Moss Hill, Samuel Roach is making us a tool to shut that one down. Cause I can reach it. It's in the middle of the highway, so we gotta stop traffic. I can barely reach it.
The valve,
Can't turn it. I mean, I can barely get my fingers on it. So Jimmy said to get a tool made just to go with that valve. So we took it to Samuel, and he's supposed to be making us one, but you know, he's a deputy now too, so. But he's supposed to be making us one. I can't turn it. I can barely grab it with my fingers. It's so deep.
Then that's just gonna shut that water
That's
off.
shutting off that mulch seal line that we're having problems with. That'll shut that one
But
down.
everybody will still have water?
Yep,
Alright.
yep.
The water hose that was on the lift station.
That's put there to keep from sewage going on the ground.
Oh, okay.
So the pumps that there went out, but we have a warranty on them. So Jimmy said not to pump it on the ground, of course. So that's, in order to keep from getting in trouble with DEP, we had to pump it to manhole. Yeah,
Okay.
yep, that's what that is.
What we ever decide, what we gonna do about fire hydrants?
What do you mean?
Replace them, repair them, or what?
Yeah, we just talked about it in the last meeting, but I was gone, I've been gone.
So you gonna take care of it?
Yeah.
Alright.
Supposed to, yeah.
Crepe myrtles that are on the main highway out here, all this moss in them. I talked to, Charles Glover. If we don't get that moss out, they're gonna die.
How far did we go? Because we didn't even know we were supposed to maintain them. Did we ever find out how far we go through this?
That section, and they thought still down to the city park, but we don't have it as a city park anymore.
How far that way?
I've got that thing that they sent me so we can look at it.
Yeah, because see, we didn't even know, we thought when we gave the mowing up, that was part of it. We didn't know nothing about crepe myrtles at all.
That's a city, that was a
Yeah,
city guy.
I guess we kept that, we didn't even know.
But anyway, well, it's not up to me, it's up to council. So the only way we're gonna keep them things living is pull that moss out, cut them back, pull that moss out. And make sure there's no moss at all left in. We pressure wash those at the house to get rid of it. I cut them back, pressure wash them, and they've been on it for the last 4 or 5 years. And when you do that, throw some fertilizer on them. All right. What'd you do with the trees you cut out of retention pond?
What do I do with them?
Yeah,
I put them up there in our pile.
somebody dumped some of them across the road.
That's not, that's when they clean them red, them, whatever. Yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with me there.
All right. What are we gonna do about all that stuff behind the sewer yard?
Gotta burn it.
You wanna, yeah, but I'm talking about your trucks and all too. You wanna come bring it to the council one day?
We can't get rid of that white one, remember, the Dodge is part of the grant.
Okay,
Yeah. But the other one of them's the fire department's.
all right.
And then that old white one, I mean, I don't know what y'all wanna do with it.
And the tractor.
The tractor still works.
But do you ever use it?
No.
Why don't you make a list of stuff like that and bring it to the council? To put some money in your revenue if they decide to get rid of it.
What about that old cabin trailer?
That's my camper.
What is it doing there?
I put it there from the storm.
Oh, it's gone.
Alright.
Did y'all ever start wasting?
Yep,
Thank you.
we're good.
Good.
Yeah.
What about your air compressor? Got it taken care of? Thank you. That's all I got.
Attorney's report, Ms. Michelle?
Okay, so I just looked back in my records. The last thing I had on the track park survey was last July. We had done title work and it had come back showing that the land that the city completely occupies around the school doesn't necessarily align with the legal description that we have. So I needed 2 surveys. We need to survey the area that the city actually occupies. Just it's the identical issue that we have out at the cemetery. So we need to survey the area that we actually occupy, and then I need a separate survey of just whatever you're going to be dealing with on the grant, because the grant property may not have these issues necessarily, but we have to have a survey to know.
Okay, or we haven't, one part of it is being surveyed now for the grant, right? Or it's been approved?
I don't know. I haven't ordered that survey work.
We just been doing surveys in steps, so we did the survey of the
Okay.
cemetery because we didn't budget for surveying all over the place. So we did the cemetery, and then I think y'all approved getting the grant survey, but we hadn't finished the cemetery stuff, so we wanted to,
That's where I was confused, 'cause I
Yeah.
knew that we had approved something for the track. So we're just in steps.
that was my thoughts.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Do you have anything else?
The next hearing on the Traverse Drive injunction is May 5th, at 9 o'clock. It's by Zoom. I'll have Candace send everybody the link if they want to watch that. Let's try to get that injunction in place before the season gets started again. I mean, I know we'll have a few spring breakers, but that was as early as we could get.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Thank you. Clerk's report, Ms. Candace.
I don't really have anything, except for the grant amendment for what y'all are gonna do as item number 1.
Okay. Public Works report, Jason.
Just two things. I passed my class in South Florida. We had an incident Sunday with a group of kids at softball game. They had a softball tournament. 3 little kids broke a window. So we called the sheriff's department. So they made a case. So we couldn't press charges on them because they're juveniles. And basically, the way Scott put it was, if we press charges on them, they're just gonna go, DJJ ain't gonna do nothing to them, basically. So his idea for me to bring forward y'all was each parent, I looked at the price of Lexan windows, was to pay for 1 window. So they just broke 1 window, basically. And each parent buy 1 window. And that would actually replace all those on the back. And I think it was like $78 total, so I just said $80. That's for a window, the call, to do it and everything. As long as y'all are good with it.
$80 for a window?
It's Lexan, it's a little.
It's not the whole window in the
It's
frame,
not-
they're just talking about replacing the,
Yeah.
Did they break like a whole window or did they break a broken window?
No, it was-
Oh, I know about that one.
No, this just happened again.
Oh, it
So,
happened again?
Jason, the way you explained to me, yeah, I got a phone call about it. Jason got called, I called the sheriff's department. The boys were there because there was a ball game going on, they were there with their parents. Guess that they got 4, kids. It's my understanding though that what the deputy suggested was for each one to buy a sheet.
Right,
So that's gonna be 3 sheets.
3 sheets.
That would cover that, when you're looking at that back building, that would cover.
Joe,
The
thank you.
parents are good with it and everything,
And
so they agreed, the boys admitted to it, that they done it. So,
And they also apologized to the city through me at Circle H the other day while they were doing a fundraiser. That they expressed that they apologized, that they were very sorry about their actions. I don't have a problem with it. How's the rest of the council feel about it?
You mean for them replacing?
They've agreed to
yeah.
buy the stuff for it to be replaced.
No, I don't have a problem, long as if they agree to that.
Michelle, that's not something that we have to vote on as long as we're all in agreement, right?
I mean, you can take a vote.
Last time something like that happened, a long time ago, parents took care, but Young's had to write a letter to the council. That might give them a little meaning behind something.
So they were out there Sunday selling eggs
Were they?
and
Okay.
brownies.
Yeah, that's where they met me at the Circle H to
And
apologize.
y'all ain't even agreed on it.
To the city through me. That's
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm
good.
saying.
Yeah.
They told me that's buying uniform.
And I can tell you from the way that
They told me that's
they
buying
acted,
uniform, Jason.
They're doing both.
they probably got more trouble than just
Come on,
having
get it
to
right.
raise the money. to pay for it.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Cause those parents seem to be strict than what they have.
And Michelle, you said, you said,
We need to vote.
do we need to vote or?
That's up to y'all.
I'm in agreement with it, is everybody else?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
And that, like I said, Scott Marshall did make a case number on it.
Yeah, I just
But,
gotta let him know, so.
I spoke with one of the parents and I don't believe there's gonna be any issue. I think they're gonna do as quickly as their boys can raise the money, because they're making them do it.
Oh, my God.
They're not paying for it, they're making the boys raise the money.
That's not where they're gonna learn that.
And I think it's a really good idea. That's what I would do if mine did something like that.
I got something on that. Maybe in the future, we look into fixing all the windows because
Well, I think we just got,
kids see a broken window, they think it's a bit like abandoned. They're just gonna keep throwing rocks at them. It's gonna continue to happen.
I think we just got the,
Yeah, the insurance will replace all the panes from the previous break, and so that should take care of,
The ones that are broken on the side.
so that it doesn't look like, oh, hey, everybody
Well,
just
well,
breaks
I
these
think
That's what's
windows.
happening.
and I think that's what they were thinking too.
It's a target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So is that all you have, Jason?
That's it, this month.
Fire department's report. Candace?
I hadn't talked to Shaq today, I know there's a meeting tomorrow night, or training.
It's got on shift right now. I don't want to bother him on it.
Okay, recreational report.
Nikki couldn't be here this evening, I think she's got some sick kiddos, but baseball's about to kick off, and everything seems to be going fine with that. She's doing the background checks, I think, right now. And that's all.
Can I ask a real quick question about your background checks? I know it's been a few years since we looked at all this, but I had this issue come up in another community that I work in, where we had a parent that their background check came back clear, that they were charged criminally before the background check was done. It just didn't show up. Do we require that our volunteers disclose to us when they've been arrested?
I don't know what their background check is. Nikki does
It should.
it. I'll have to find out from her.
When we did this, I want to think it was back in 17, we do our background checks through VEX, I think is the acronym, but that may be something that we need to look into. Like I said, this was something that I've encountered recently, and it was the kind of charge that would disqualify a
Okay,
person from
so,
volunteering.
a disclosure then.
If that's not in our volunteer agreement, that they're required to disclose to
Okay.
us when they get arrested,
We
that
need to
needs
put
to
it
be
in.
in there. And then we can make a decision based on if we go through that Dixie Youth, I know they require you to remove the volunteer while the charges are pending. But I just wanted to put that out there, that's something.
I'm glad
I've
that you did,
encountered
because
Yeah,
that
I'll
makes
talk to
sense.
Nikki
that
about it.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
They're volunteering and something happens, and when they should be volunteering and we don't know about it and something happens, then we're definitely gonna get notified of it in a very good way.
We're still trying to figure out how the background check missed the arrest, but that's a whole nother story.
You mean the background check had already been done and then they got arrested?
You know, they were arrested 2 months before the background check was done, so it should have popped up.
Oh. Mhm.
I'm just saying that they should have to disclose to us if they've been arrested, whether or not it shows up on their background check.
Yeah, 'cause they thought they got away then, yeah.
Anything else on that? President's report, all I have was basically what we already talked about the windows. I do have one question, because I'm kind of confused. On the survey, do we need to vote on having a survey done on that other part of the track, or are we already in line because we've approved the one?
The track is
Yeah,
approved, I know the one
yeah.
for the track's approved to do, yeah.
It should be good.
But she said she had to have two, so that's.
So that was my recommendation, is because we know that there are title issues with,
Just thing out here.
generally with City Hall, because nobody did title work back then, because Gerald Holly represented all the various entities except for y'all. He represented the school board, he represented the county, they just didn't do title work or surveys. And this property had been held by the school board, it probably went back into the 1800s. So you've expanded at some point beyond your legal description, just like out at the cemetery. So that's just, it may not have anything to do with your grant, but we need to have the track surveyed so that we can get that question answered and get that FREDAP grant submitted. But generally speaking, if we have title issues with City Hall in general, we need to know that. It needs to be, you know, your long-term plans to address, so that you don't get sued for, you know, a taking or
So
something
do we
like
need to
that.
put that, do we have to put that out for bid, or can we use the same surveyor?
Do we need to have the whole complex surveyed?
That's my recommendation, yeah.
Okay.
And that's gonna be expensive, and that's why I say that's a long-term, you know, that's something you're probably gonna wanna
Kind of work it all in.
get some quotes and bring up at budget.
Okay, so then that's where we'll leave that then.
He may be, if he's under, I don't know what he'll be on his, what he would be.
Surveying is high generally, but again, that, to survey the entire,
Yeah, we may need to do it
Properties.
a piece at a time.
yeah, it'll be substantial.
Get the track done first and then work on the budget for the,
For the rest of it.
because the track stuff is where we want the grants and to do all the different things.
Yeah, but are we gonna have to borrow money to pay for some of this work we got coming up?
At the plant?
Yeah.
No, well, we have that money in the region's
Right.
bank, so, but we're using backup money. We're using the backup money.
Yeah, it was the meeting that you missed, Mr. Gary. She found the money where we could use it and cover the cost.
Okay.
But there won't be no more backup money after that, I
The
guess.
worst
is
is
the-
over with.
Yeah. Okay, if nobody else has anything on that. Number one, the CDBG and our fund amendment.
So that was just what we talked about at the last workshop, for y'all to all have time to think or consider. The CDBG grant, Florida Commerce will not let you move the money from the wells to the roads, but you can do an amendment to move the money from the road to the well. There's not enough money to do pretty much any portion of the road, based on the bids. The lowest bid was $400,000 for one section. That we've only got around 250,000, and by the time you knock it down, because you still got to worry about your drainage and all the things that go under it, you wouldn't get any road done. Nobody bid on the wells because there wasn't enough money in the well budget for anybody to deal with putting in a bid on it. So nobody bid on the wells, and that's what they believe because there's not enough money in the well budget. So your option is you lose the grant basically, or you move the money from
The roads.
the road to the wells.
What are we gonna do about getting the wells repaired?
You can move the money from the roads to the well.
From the roads to the wells,
That's
yes.
what I'm calling for, a motion to
To move the money.
move the money from the road to the wells through the CDBG.
And we don't
Yeah.
actually have the
Grant.
money. That's just telling the state that's what we wanna do.
Yeah.
We don't have the money.
We haven't gotten the money yet. They haven't released the money, but we have to say, hey, we want an amendment.
Before they're gonna
So that
release the
means
money.
that we're not gonna do anything about that road over there?
So that's what y'all have to decide.
I'm asking a question. Does that mean that Church Street is not gonna have anything done over there?
That's what I mean.
Not with this grant
Well, I'm
money,
telling
because
you, I
remember
know
we talked
that, but I'm
about
saying,
with Dale at the last meeting that he was here.
you know,
Either
this
we,
is bad.
that's why we,
2027 would be the next time.
I know that, this is bad.
I
But-
did
but-
put in the grant for the MSCOPS. We won't even find out till December, and that money would not be released until 2027.
2027.
Yeah.
Mhm.
well, we may have to come together at a workshop and see if we can figure something out, or maybe take out a loan if we can afford it or something like that, but at
At
this
this
stage.
time, I can understand we have to transfer it.
Well, because
Then
the
we
wells
still need to
affect
be-
the whole
I know
city.
that affects the whole city,
And
but
they
we
won't let
also
us do it
made
the opposite
promises
way.
too, okay? As a city councils, we made promises. And, well, I just think we need to have a workshop and discuss this. how we going to, I see transferring the money right now to the wells, because we need the money, need the wells, but we also need to look at what we can do, or if we can do anything for Church Street. Okay, that's what I would like to see done.
Well, I absolutely know that we need to do something for Church Street, but the problem
I know.
is with this particular money, we
That we
can't.
can't do anything.
So,
That's why I said we need to look at a workshop we have the workshop to discuss, maybe we can have some other options, and Candace, if you can,
What was the lowest bid on the road?
There's ways that we can,
if we
Okay,
can do
well,
something.
help it.
hold on, y'all. I've called for a motion, so we need to see
Okay,
what we're gonna do and then
okay, let's
discuss
do
it.
that.
So do I have a motion to approve moving the funds from the CDBG and our grant money from the road to the wells?
I make a motion, we have to do that, we have to get the wells fixed.
Do I have a second?
I'll say.
Any discussion? Now we can discuss.
So I will say that I talked to Joey, and he's gonna go to the county commission. I know
Yeah.
Britton probably talked to him,
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Gary
have.
may have talked to him, and see if they can work on the road to get it in better condition. Obviously, they're not gonna pave it, but they could
The
do,
county has something that they could possibly go in.
the county, and he's going to do that at, I think, the next meeting they have.
Yeah.
Great.
And what was the lowest bid on the road, remember?
For part of the road was 400,000.
That was
Just-
part,
just
that
a
wasn't
little-
even the whole
It was just a little bit of road there.
The whole section.
Yeah.
It wasn't even half. I don't
Half of the
believe.
road.
It was.
For the whole road, the lowest bid was like 870,000 plus contingency stuff, so almost 900. And the highest bid was 1.5 million.
And that's more than the grant is that we're getting
For
started.
the whole thing.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 2, payroll, Mr. Gary.
We've discussed, Candace will tell me if I'm wrong, about her doing payroll, but that's entirely up to the council and her. That saves us, how much a month?
They're doing payroll and supposed to be doing reconciling, and that's $675. I have talked to Garrett several times since our last thing, and he's trying to, keep up with that. As far as the payroll stuff, entering the payroll stuff, I talked to him about that just through email, and he said that they'd been doing it on their account, so we didn't have to pay for it. So all of our information is on their QuickBooks account for payroll.
But that wasn't the agreement.
Right, but if y'all should decide, then he ought to just be able to grant me online access to get it and transfer it, cause he can get into our stuff.
Some way we need to get where we can get a budget every month. But that's not fair to you or not fair to none of us.
No. And Michelle, because you weren't here, we kind of waited to discuss this, so fill you in without throwing anybody under the bus. We had a situation where, when they came on board, they offered certain services. I thought it was a contract, it actually wasn't. Candace recently found out that when they set up the check numbers wrong. Candace, interrupt me if I make a mistake on this. They set up the check numbers wrong, and she called it immediately and spoke to them about it, and they never fixed it. Well, all of a sudden, we get an extra bill for $1,200 because they decided to fix it, but the kicker is, they still didn't fix it. The check numbers are still not right. And then she found out that, and the reason that we went to QuickBooks to begin with was because it was explained to us that that's how they could interact from their office here, and everybody would have access to everything. But they're using theirs, not on her system, so she can't access that information. We're paying them $675 a month, and we're not getting the services that we were told we were getting. We questioned Candace if she would be willing to do it, and us just pay her the extra $675 a month.
Now, is that just for payroll?
that's
It's one of the reasons that we brought them on was because every year y'all would get a little ding in your
Right.
audit.
Yeah, and
Right.
we've been getting it, and we're gonna get, well, there's been some issues with that kind of paperwork with them too, that we're probably gonna have something said about. So, my only thing was I wanted your opinion, for you to be here when we discussed it at
Seems like
length.
I remember they just sent a proposal letter. We didn't have a,
There's not a contract.
No, but it was set out as what they were doing. That's why I thought that it was a contract, but they explained the things that they would do. We questioned Candace about it, and I don't know if your mind has changed or if it's something that you,
I'll do whatever y'all
Take
want me to do, but there needs to be 2 eyeballs on it so that we don't have,
You get the ding.
yeah.
And they're,
well, if you're able to generate the financials and give them up the reports, then that should help with that, if we're all looking at it, I would think. And it used to happen that way.
We all
Years
got
ago,
the papers with everything on it, yeah.
We got it looked at. Matter of fact, checks were even looked at before they were approved.
yeah,
Y'all used to do approved payment of the bills,
Yes,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But half the bills now are online.
yeah, so that changes things, but,
And payroll is online, it's paid online.
yeah, but in order for there to be, I would think that it would be better than what, not having any checks and balances, if we were able to get a monthly statement of the financials that we can all look at, and then if anybody's got any questions, you know, we're all aware of what's going on. That's my opinion of it. I know Candace has had to go back and fix a lot of things, and it just seems to me like if she's having to do most of the work anyway and is willing to do it, why shouldn't we pay her the $675 and just discontinue the services of the CPA?
you also have enough staff now that you could implement checks and balance. So you need one person to enter information and then another person
To check it.
to check it. And that's literally just
Just-
like looking at a deposit slip before it goes to the bank to make sure that the checks that are listed on the deposit slip are actually,
Yeah.
you know, what should be there. That's an easy check and balance that sometimes is missing when, in the past when y'all haven't had enough staff.
To have to do that, you know.
So do we want to add this as number 3, or what's the will of council?
What does she want?
Candace?
I can do it, but I don't want to be the only one seeing it, for sure. I know we just talked about that, but like,
Kind of implement it with the
Yeah.
the 2 other ladies.
and however, if I need to approve it, somebody do it, I go in and do the online or vice versa or whatever. I just want more than one hand on it so nobody says we didn't do it right. And then we've got the balance in the checkbook, basically. I mean, doing that shouldn't be anything unless I have to go back to 2003, to 23.
That was the last issue that I forgot to tell you about, was she recently found out that she had asked them for some information that she needed, and they came back with, can you give me this information from 2023, which let off the big red flag that they had not been reconciling, which is part of what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, your account should be reconciled every month.
But we don't see it, and then if
She
a check
can't see it.
they're doing the bank reconciliation. But
It's better for us.
so what I do, if I need to know if something's clear, I go into the bank account and I type in the check number now, is what I'm doing, versus where I had calls like, I think it was something had been mailed out in June, and in January, they were like, we lost those checks, can you reissue those checks? They actually had gotten them, it was local business, they had gotten them, but they had lost them. Well, I don't reconcile bank statements, so.
So with that being said, I'm gonna add a number 3, motion to discontinue services with the current CPA and hire Candace at the $675 a month rate to do that.
Well, if we're gonna be splitting duties, I don't need, you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't need to be me if we're gonna have more than one person doing it.
We need to find out who's
You know what I'm
But
saying?
you need to find out who, because you're gonna be the main one doing it.
Right, but I'm just saying, however y'all decide to do it,
can Miss Carolyn do the reconciliation? Cause that's,
Or Nikki's kind of
That-
taking
or
on paying, printing the checks.
that's the check and balance. You have to have a different person than whoever's inputting the information, doing the reconciliation. And reconciliation in QuickBooks, if you're inputting the information correctly, it should only take you a few minutes.
Yeah, I know, I'm just not I've not done it because they're supposed to,
So,
y'all know I don't like to say
We
stuff.
changed their
Supposed to be
they
doing
did not,
that, they're not doing it right.
they're using theirs.
I'm just saying that the process of reconciling it in QuickBooks is not complicated as long as the information was input correctly. And depending on, I don't know where y'all bank, but depending on where you bank, your QuickBooks may be able to automatically import your banking information. And again, I have to reconcile my accounts in my law office, and it literally takes me 5 minutes because my bank information is imported into my software. And when everything lines up, I just hit the little reconcile button and that's it.
So ours doesn't, the only reason, because I've just played around trying to figure out what they've done and not done, is we're having to go in and I don't know that it's as much the reconciliation, and maybe they're just not, I know they're not reconciling, but you have to, like I say, 300, so if I wrote your check, it would be like 300, which is professional services, and it's got a bunch of different, the little categories, if you do it, Well, there's everything that comes out automatically or is paid automatically, none of that gets tagged with anything. So then that's what he does to reconcile is okay, we got a state of Florida, say we get 25 state of Florida disbursements put into our account. He's asking me from 2023, what was that for?
You know,
Well,
they should know.
I don't know. Then I had to get, then I gotta go research it, where if we were doing it,
You would have that.
we would do it right then, and you don't remember after a month or two.
Well, plus when you went on vacation, what happened?
Yeah, we didn't get paid, we did late,
It
and,
was late. Before she could, because that girl didn't know what she was doing out there.
And I think he messed some of them up too, some of the guys.
and all of their paid time off and all that was wrong, but I think he's got that because we do payroll Thursday. So I think he's got that, because we've been talking back and forth about that. I think one problem is that QuickBooks program, do you run your year in like September 30th?
No, I run on a calendar.
And I'm wondering if that's the problem, because when you try to do year to date, it does like January 1st through how it's set up in there.
I
It doesn't show you actual year to date as far as
Yeah. I would assume, based on the number of governments that they've worked for, that they have a way to work with that.
with QuickBooks. You mean QuickBooks? Yeah,
Yeah, that's just a setting.
I'm sure.
So one more question, Candace. What would be a good time frame for you, if this passes, for transition over from us stop using them to you start?
Well, I've got to get the stuff from him, and he said that we need, that's what he was saying, that we needed to pay for the program on our end, the payroll program on QuickBooks. So that may be another $100 a month. We pay $99 a month for the program that we have, but apparently payroll is not included in it. Do you have that?
I use Gusto for payroll, and
Okay.
y'all did use Gusto back when Michelle Cook was here. It's super easy and it integrates with QuickBooks. It cost me, I think I paid $60. But I have 2 employees and 3 contractors. You pay a flat
Per
fee
person,
plus
yeah.
per person. I don't know about QuickBooks payroll.
I really need to talk to them and see how I can get all the information, or how much it's gonna cost to have it.
Oh, changed over?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
If they're doing manual
Vote on
entries
the
on
next
their system, I don't know that,
talk about it during this
I don't know
workshop.
that you'll be able to get anything other than the download of.
if you can have that information by our workshop, we'll talk about it and then vote on it at the next meeting.
So you're gonna table this?
Yes, so I'm gonna table it, so I'm not adding number 3, so just mark it off. If there's nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any adjourned?